Joining scouting for the first time is not just about the child joining, but the parents of that child. They need to be involved too. As scout leaders, we need to make it fun, easy, and stress-free. Hey, ScouterStan, let's talk about it. This is supposedly the season when school starts up again. A lot of people are invited to a back to the pack kind of thing. It's a recruitment season. I don't think so. Recruitment should be all year round, but this is the big push for new families to get involved, and we need to be receptive and welcoming. It is important to have as many scout leaders in your unit at your recruiting effort with the school. It is important that they're there to kind of mentor and take on new parents that are maybe confused or struggling with some issue. And this is something that those leaders can work on with them. And it's not just at the meeting. It can be much later. They can contact them through texting or a phone call or something of that nature. That is something that successful recruiting always has that follow-up, always has that backup. So if there is a question or a concern, it's addressed immediately. Now, it's important when you're doing recruiting to be in full uniform. You're showing the adult leaders, the leaders of the unit are showing the adults that they mean to help and support the scouting movement. And it's important to be in that full uniform so that you're representing. And that's the critical thing with uniform. It's a uniformed organization. It's uniform in its program. It's uniform in our safety. These are things that we have. And by seeing the physical uniform, it's so important. A lot of parents say, well, why scouting? Why not some sport or some other activity? Scouting has values, life values, through the Scout Oath and Scout Law that are absolutely critical to successful children to become leaders of tomorrow. This is a program, a movement that has been going on well over 100 years and well into the future. We're in a renaissance of scouting. A lot of people are getting involved. They're giving it a second look. And that's the wonderful thing about it. It has values that are so critical for the future. I have witnessed this happening. There was a mom who was kind of timid and had this very precocious young man running around, but when you approached her and the little child, the child instantly became shy and would hide behind mom and so on. And this was something that we see all the time. Within several months, this child was on stage running around with a puppet. I mean, it was a miraculous change. I saw this young boy turn into a Cub Scout, turn into a Boy Scout, and I mentored him all the way to Eagle. That was something that I've actually seen, and this is incredible. I know that this young man will carry the values of scouting in whatever he does, and that's the beautiful thing about scouting, and that's one of the things that adult leaders can actually be a big part of. So I'm encouraging you to think about that. Now, at these reviews, when they go through the recruiting process, one of the major questions that adults have is time requirements. So many of them think they don't have time for any scouting. You've seen several demonstrations here on the channel about that. That's one of those things that you need to think about. It's so incredibly important to scouting values. You don't have enough time. You need to dedicate more time to scouting for the benefit of your own child. That's the wonderful thing about the scouting movement. We want parents and the youth to be involved. A lot of times you hear about this 1 hour a week, and in fact, I do have a video on that. Check that out. That's one of those things, it's a myth. You get what you get out of scouting what you put into it. So if you put in only 1 hour, that's all you're going to get back. So that's the important thing. A lot of scout leaders pour a lot of time into it for the benefit of other children. That's the wonderful thing, one of the gifts. They actually become a big part of that scout's life through the whole process of scouting. It is a wonderful thing. So definitely think about it as a parent. What time do I have? I mean, they're at the meeting, so they have a little bit of time, and it's fine. We can come up with tasks to fill those spots, okay? So don't worry about that. Time commitment usually is about an hour every week. Think of it that way. But that's the scout going to a den meeting or a troop meeting or a meeting, okay? That's usually about an hour, hour and a half. Depends. But that's something that you need to clarify at the actual recruitment. Another big issue is safety. Safety is one of the major concerns, major priorities of all scout leaders. All scout leaders are required to go through the application process, to be basically background checked, and they need to go through training. Safeguarding youth is our training, and this is something that all scout leaders need to be aware of. We need to be thinking safety all the time, every activity, every meeting. So that's the big thing. We want to make sure that our scouts, their safety is our job, is to make sure that they keep that as safe as possible. Another big concern they may have is the cost of the uniform. Yes, the shirts are kind of pricey, but there's a reason they last. And it's very important if a scout is just joining a pack to make sure that if they're very young, they need to have that shirt very loose because they're going to grow, okay? You'd be amazed. And they get very tall very quickly. And that's the wonderful thing about scouting. That shirt can be expensive, especially when you look at all those patches. A lot of units have a closet of used uniforms that are perfectly fine, and they're not torn or anything. So you can go to that closet and get a uniform very inexpensively. Now, uniform, the real uniform type of shirt, is usually at a meeting for a den meeting or a troop meeting, and it's usually at a court of honor. A lot of units just say the pack t-shirt or the troop t-shirt is the uniform also. So there can be two different uniforms. You need to make sure that the adults that are joining are thinking about very inexpensive options as far as uniform. I recommend the t-shirt for a lot of units because it just makes it easier, and they are in a uniform. So the uniform is where you put all of your achievements, and a uniform shirt tells a story. So that's the importance of the uniform. Now, depending on what kind of uniform shirt you want to put together, where it's the Scouting America shirt or a t-shirt, that's completely up to the unit. It can be both, and you want to wear that complete uniform when awards are being given out, say at a blue and gold or a court of honor. These are very important places for photographs and talking about scouting in general. The next big thing that a lot of parents are concerned about is the calendar of events. This should have been produced in a printed format. It's okay to have it as a PDF that you can send people. So many adults live off of their phone. That's one of the big things. And the PDF can be emailed to them. So that's something they can pick up on their phone, or even text onto their phone. Of course, we have Scout Book, which keeps a lot of the day-to-day things that are going on within the unit. So these are tools that can be used with the adults to kind of put their minds at ease as far as activities. Make sure that they understand. It's important that they try to be at everything. But if they're not able to, that's okay. They can come back and you'll fill them in on what they missed. So it's not if you don't attend every single meeting, you're out. No, not at all. Scouting will take them and give them the information they need. It's important that they try to make as many meetings as possible, but it's obviously not going to be everything. Many parents need to know how they can help. There are lots of activities, and this is one of the critical things that they need to understand. There are two kinds of leaders. We have leaders who are in the background. That's the majority of leaders in a unit. They're in the background. They're behind the scenes. They're the committees. They're the people that do all the purchasing or transporting of scouts. Okay, these are the adult leaders in the background. Okay, the scout-facing one, usually in a Cub Scout pack, that would be like the Cub Master, Assistant Cub Master, the Den Leader, Assistant Den Leader. These are actual scout facing, and they go through a little more training that's involved as far as the process. There's training available for every position, so they're never out there on their own. They never have to reinvent the wheel. Okay, it's already been done. It's all there, tried and true. Okay, and that's that. A lot of scout parents get overly concerned that they're going to be kind of put in that situation. It's not. Scouting will help you through that process if you choose to be scout facing. If you're doing stuff in the background, that is awesome, and we need that. There needs to be more of that. So definitely step up and do something within the scout unit. Is so critical. It helps out in every way. It's important to know that there's always small tasks, many small tasks, that adult parents can actually take on instead of a scout-facing leader. It is all too often we just kind of shove it over onto them as default. We shouldn't do that. Scout parents need to step up. And when they do, they get so much more out of scouting because they're with their youth. Their actual children are part of that den, part of that patrol, part of scouting that they're a part of. This is big. This is huge. And it helps everything. That's the beautiful thing about scouting, is that it will help organize and be able to be there for youth and the parents. So definitely have them step up and do something for the unit So important. Hey, before we go any further, I want to make sure that you're invited to the Campfire Chat. Now, this is our live meeting we have each month on the first Sunday, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This is a fantastic way to get involved with live chat, and we have special guests. We have all kinds of neat things that go on. So definitely check that out. I also want to thank all of the Patreon members of this channel. In addition to that, I also want to thank all of the channel members right here on this channel. They have a fantastic group of people on this channel. They get a lot of perks. They get a lot of little icons and all kinds of neat stuff. But definitely check that out. If you're interested in becoming a member, definitely hit the little join button. It'll tell you more information. That's a great way to make this channel even better. Make it a part of what you do. And I'm so proud of you. We're just gonna jump right back in. Now, at your next recruitment, you need to keep it simple. This is quite literally being very succinct on exactly the program. That's very important. Try to prevent overwhelming information. You do not have to disclose all of the details that have been planned for the next year, okay? Talk about the next meeting. Keeping it simple, focused in a very simple way. If they need that information, you can give it to them. Usually the schedule. That is something that you don't have to overwhelm. Always avoid acronyms. CM, SPL, those kinds of things really turn parents off. If you want to say Cub Master, that's what you say. You don't have to say CM and the ACM. Make sure that you use the words. So you're not talking down to the individual. What you're doing is decreasing the confusion. They don't know these terms like we do. They will. Just give them time. That's the wonderful thing. But make sure you say Cub Master, Assistant Cub Master, Den Leader, not DL. Okay? That if you didn't know, what does a DL do? That's the thing. You gotta keep it simple. Now, earlier I did talk about having a mentor or a scout leader assigned to every scouting parent or each family that's getting involved. That scout leader can help mentor them, walk with them through the process. Therefore, it's not scary to them. It's not something that they're fearful of or stressed about. Highlighting your excitement at this recruitment is critical to success. Keep this in mind. Don't be afraid to show them a video, a board, some exciting thing. You can tell a great story of something that happened. You could definitely talk about things. You could do a song, a cheer, whatever you want to do. Don't hold on to your excitement. It's infectious. Give them that scouting feeling so they can also get that excited. That's the wonderful thing. It's important to keep that going. As much energy as you possibly can for that excitement. That's the critical thing about getting involved in scouting. Now, one of the big things that is important with recruiting is always think about your scouts, the actual scouts, whether it be Cub Scouts or even in a troop situation. They can actually do some recruiting. There's a video up here on trailblazing this idea of youth actually doing some of the recruiting of youth. This is a fantastic thing. Make sure that the mentors that are working with Scout families, new Scout families, so that that mentor can really get excited too, and getting all of that going. Make sure that any of the questions are written down so that you can come up with a very easy Q&A. If they have the question, others do. They just didn't say anything. So it'd be best to try to make that available to all the Scout families. Whatever questions and answers, that is always important to keep that rolling forward. It's feedback. We love feedback. We want feedback. We need that feedback in order to get the program rolling forward and to help those adults become successful. Success is what this is about, is making sure that you are ready for that success. Your unit is recruiting adults and Scouts. Always keep that in mind. You have to have that structure in the background. More so in a troop, and very important in a pack. So those are two major places. Crews and ships, they got good leadership. So they need the adult leadership too. So definitely lend a hand, jump in. You know, you want parents to do that. But with a Cub Scout pack and a troop, you have to have the parents' involvement. Okay? If the parent's not going to be involved, do you really want to put that new Scout on to another leader that's not even part of the family? That's one of those things you have to think about. So it's important that not only does the youth join, but the adults join too. That's the important part. You need them to step up. We're not asking them to be Cub Master without any experience or training, okay? We're asking them to make a list of what's in the closet. You know, simple tasks, okay? That's a task that some other leader doesn't have to do. There are tons of stuff that need to be done. And having the parents come along with the youth, that's the critical thing. That's also where you get your leaders. They're going to come along, and that's one of those critical things. Definitely think about adults when you're recruiting youth. That is so absolutely vital to the success of your troop, your Cub Scouts, to your pack. So important. Definitely make sure that that's an emphasis. You want to make sure that that's right. Okay? So if you have questions or comments or anything, please put them in the comments of the video. I look at all of them, and I really want to hear your feedback. So definitely do that. There's no reason to wait on inviting someone to actually join Scouting. Scouting should be recruited year-round, not seasonally, but all the time. You can invite Scout parents, families to come to a meeting, come to anything to do with Scouting. Get them there and start talking to them about getting them involved. It's absolutely important, and it should be done year-round. Now, it is so important that I want to make sure that you get an opportunity to check out the video. It's right over here. It talks about recruiting year-round. Until next time, I'll see you on the trail.